That's three things for the Bills and the Giants. Number one, how do the Bills move on now without Matt Milano? Well, last week they tried it first with Dorian Williams. That didn't last long. Tyrel Dodson came in and I think played better than Williams, but Williams has the better upside. He's the rookie. You don't really know what you have with him. And I think he's going to get a pretty long leash to prove he can win the job. Now, if it doesn't work out, the Bills can go back to Dodson. Dodson's got the high ups, or the high floor. You feel safe playing him. You know what he can offer. Worst comes to worst, you still got AJ Klein around, but I think Williams is going to get a big chance. To me, the thing I'm more interested / concerned about is Terrell Bernard, because without Milano last week, it seemed like he was a touch overwhelmed. Certainly did not play up to the same level we've seen the first 4 weeks, and that would make sense. Now, look, there were a lot of pieces coming and going in that defense beyond Matt Milano, but that is the one that I think most directly impacts / helps Bernard. And without him, now Bernard is the experienced guy. Now Bernard is the guy who's out there who knows what he's doing among the linebackers. Now, there's a little less of that if Dodson's the guy who gets the job. It's more so if it's the rookie Williams. But if it is Dodson, at least there is a veteran out there, a guy who's been around the block in the league who can help out with that leadership job. But with Milano gone, the Bills need Bernard to play well. He wasn't spectacular, but he was pretty darn good his first 4 weeks. They need that guy because for sure there's going to be a decrease in production, talent, ability in the other linebacker spot. The Bills can't afford to also have one at middle because Bernard's got more swimming in his head without Milano next to him. Speaking of swimming, number two, Von Miller was not joking when it came to that dipping the toe in the water thing. He barely played last week, 20 snaps, less than a quarter of the snaps in the game. But the thing that was kind of surprising is that it was not the normal Von Miller we've come to know. There was no impact. I mean, you barely recognized the guy who was on the field. So when does that guy show back up? You know, I'm pretty sure that Miller's going to be swimming a whole lot more this week, probably have the water at least up to the neck, maybe up to the waist, whatever. But to continue the analogy, when does Miller start making waves? That's when it matters. You know, you can tell me how much the guy's in the pool all you want. It's when he's making ripples, when he's causing problems for quarterbacks is when Von Miller makes an impact. Now, look, he's going to be back. I mean, at some point, Von Miller is going to be close to the real Von Miller. I mean, the guy's 34. He may not be 100% the Hall of Fame level, but he's going to be really good. He just wasn't that at all last week. And that's what I'm looking for this week. Not number of plays, number of impact plays. Number three, look, the Giants ain't good, folks. And I don't know if this is a further enhancement of the coaching job Brian Daboll did last year, or maybe pointing out that some of that might be a little more fortunate than we thought at the time. Either way, the Giants come into this game in the bottom 5 of the league in 13 different statistical categories. They are last in the league in yards per play, second last in yards per play allowed. And I could spend hours here telling you all the different ways they aren't very talented at football right now. On top of that, they're really banged up. 3 offensive linemen may not play, missing their center, missing their number 1 tackle, Andrew Thomas. Daniel Jones is not going to play. I don't care. It don't really matter. Whether it's Jones or Tyrod Taylor, there are so many other problems around this team that the quarterback won't make that much of a difference. Now, Saquon Barkley probably could because he's Saquon Barkley, but it doesn't seem like he's going to play in this game either. So I don't want to sit here and say this is a lock win for the Bills because I know Bills Mafia will go into a tizzy thinking that I'm going to jinx them. I am very talented at jinxes, by the way. So that's fair. But this is a game the Bills should win and should win handily. And look, if you want to play the concerned fan game, I understand. But let's just for a second play out the scenario if the Bills do lose, okay? The Bills would now be 3-3, still got to play the Eagles, still got to play the Cowboys, still got to play the Chiefs, game with the Bengals who might have figured things out, got to play the Dolphins again, got to play the Jets again, who, you know, with Zach Wilson is still a problem for the Bills. So, yeah, aside from the emotional, what would happen if the Bills lose? The math says if they lose this game, they're in a heap of trouble. The reason I'm confident about the Bills, other than the giant talent disparity, is that Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, yes, they may stub their toe. They do dumb things against the Jags for whatever reason, but it doesn't stretch into 2 games in a row, or at least doesn't very rarely. They don't let the bad stretches become stretches. They're just one game. And I think they'll handle their business in this one as well. Look, I think the bottom line is this is going to be a game where Kyle Allen plays. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I do wonder if the Bills don't quite unleash the hounds because it is Daboll on the other side, the old buddy. And I talked to Deion Dawkins about, Daboll for about 5 minutes on Wednesday. He couldn't stop gushing about him. He wasn't the only one. Gabe Davis brought up the fact that the Bills are going to see Isaiah Hodgins again. There's all kinds of connections between the Bills and the Giants. Because of that, I do wonder if the Bills don't dial it back just a touch, and this game isn't like 47-0 like it could be, the Bills will win comfortably, but my score prediction will kind of reflect that. Give me the Bills 31-13.